Hey, chat, how we doing today? I don't know why, but like this particular song. Okay, now it's slowly starting to kick up. That particular song, for whatever reason, it starts out stupidly quiet. Like, I'm pretty sure this is. Looking at this, it's like the first pretty much 30 to 40 seconds is almost like dead silence. What's the deal with that? Like, I get that having like the quiet anticipation ease up into the actual track is good and all, but at what point is it just like 30 seconds of awkward silence, you know? Anyways, we've got this going. Now, I'm coming back to this animation that we did yesterday. I'm just going to double check that it's, relatively good. I had a bit of trouble with this end section here where it's like rolling backwards and forwards, but looking at it now, I think it looks relatively fine. Actually, there might be something a smidge off that one. I'll have to check in a bit. But anyway, I went over because I have. I'm just gonna remove that off screen. Also, in other news, I have finished the catch animation. I've been here for the past 3 to 4 minutes. Or you were here early, Foxy. Why didn't you say anything? I could have just like yapped in the Twitch chat. It's not like I'm not paying attention. Well, sometimes I don't, but in this case, like I would have looked over and seen you. Anyway, I have finished the catch animation, which I will show y'all in a bit, but where is it? Project files? Because I was typing the BF. Oh, of course. Fair enough. Can't say that I can fault you for that. Anyway, where is it? Here we go. So, you see here how I have a folder that says Wayne's Crits, which is completely different from all these. So, for context, Wayne, or Way Low, as it's seen in the top here, puts his own name on everything, the bloody self-absorbed jerk, but, in a funny way. So, Wayne occasionally sends me video criticisms of the animations I do, and one of the things that he pointed out was, when I was doing the rolling animation, the one I submitted, it was sliding. So if I pull up the original lecture file that this was actually attached to, which is Animation Bootcamp 4th round increment 2. So this is technically the third file. So I'm gonna pull this up here. I'm gonna start moving this, right? So this section here is fine. So if I grab this here, right? I make a marker. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I do forget that the thing here sometimes makes it so the annotation tool, for whatever reason, becomes a keyframeable thing. It's actually in pose mode anyway. So, in object mode, I'll do this. So, why? Blender, you have every opportunity to not be a twat, and you decide to just be a twat. No, I don't want keyframes. Cut that out. What is all this keyframe stuff? So that's actually the keyframes for the ball. So I'm going to turn this off. Hopefully now it still doesn't do it. Why you like this, I could not tell you. Is there any way to prevent annotations from becoming keyframed? Or, like, is this just one of those things where Blender is like, Lamau, fuck you? I feel like it's one of those cases, you know? Maybe I need to put the placement on view. No. Also not. Surface probably doesn't help here. God, I cannot understand why Blender auto keyframes annotation tools. there is no need for it. So if I go into, I believe it's... Imagine being a twat on stream couldn't be me. Oh, New Zealanders really coming out today, huh? With my copious usage of the word twat. Like, it's only barely been 10 minutes into the stream, and I've probably used that word like 5 times already. So, multiple rig. So, all these are here properly. Now the annotation is here, but not at the same time. Like, why is it... Like, there is no need for these annotations to be here. Like this... Oh, actually, I'm looking at the wrong one. So, for whatever reason, it's marking down the annotation, but it's preventing me from... Oh, wait. You and I both already know that I'm a twat, yeah. I forgot that annotations don't show up if the viewport overlays are off. Okay. That's on my own stupidity for that one. So just ignore the mastery for a second here, chat. So something that he's pointed out, right, is using these black lines as markers. So if I use this, right, you see how it's actually gone forward, and when you roll a ball, you expect the black line to actually be on the left hand side or directly on top, not on the right hand side, what I've been doing here. So it is actually in fact sliding. So it's like so blatantly obvious now that it should hopefully make any additional attempts here a lot easier. So if I roll this along, hello? I'm asking you to move the... You'll just do anything to be annoying, won't you? Alright, that's beside the point. So if I put the timeline up here, actually, no, that's the wrong one. I want the code shift now. So if I grab all of these, yeah, that will show me all of those. Now if I move this along, how have you been? I've been okay. Today's been a bit dicey for multiple reasons, hence why the stream is a little bit later than usual. But other than that, I've been mostly fine. Yeah, so see here how it's actually a little bit closer to what I want. It's not quite there yet, but it is closer. So if I mark this down here, it's still not quite there. It probably needs to be rotated just a little bit quicker. So knowing this information now, I can adjust the animation as I see fit. That's good, better than me at least. Yeah, I see from your status on Discord that you're having troubles with the idea of not being able to have surgery done for your issues, so I wish there was a way that I could help, but unfortunately I am not a doctor. Yeah, so maybe this needs to be rotated just slightly sooner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this back so this stays on screen for a bit longer. Well, it's not just that. Well, talk to me then, Foxy. What's going on? So, graph editor. So if I move this up, and this is like a very small change, so I'll just get rid of the normalize for a moment. The body, make sure. So if I move that now, erase that. So this one here, if I've done it correctly, should either be directly in the middle or slightly off to the left. Okay, I have not done it correctly. In fact, it seems like I may have made it worse. So I'm going to... grab these. Move down a bit further. Okay, just move this along. So now that is still going forward far further than I would like to. I've been trying to contact the business office for the past few days and they refuse to answer the damn phone. I even left them my number and they still have yet to call me back. And I urgently need to know where they're located so that I can literally take care of the shit that needs to be taken care of. Is this about the, like your job not doing what they're meant to be doing? Or is this a different business office that I've yet to know about? If I scale this one here, okay, not quite. But like, it still goes forward, and I don't really want to do that. I wonder actually if this one needs to be moved out. So if I make the point of contact here... Okay, it's closer. It's to do with the health bills. Example, I got a text saying that I need to pay like $72 for something that's not on my payment plan. And the only way I can do that is by contacting them. MRI, physical therapy, etc. Okay, that's... I forget your entire health system is pay to win. But yeah, that's some absolute bullshit. And I can just about guarantee that the office hours are like from 2 to 3 p.m. on a Wednesday every other week. At least that's what it seems like. Alright, so I'm going to go quickly into the dope sheet, just get rid of the annotations for a moment. And then go back to Graph Editor. Now if I zoom in, I can actually see. Okay, it's better, but it's not quite there yet. They're literally open from 8 or 9 to like 4, I think, and they refuse to answer when I call, which is absolute bullshit. Yeah. That does sound about right. Okay, so if I move this to here, that also rotates that one, though. So if I G then X this, so it's over here, which would make it further back. It would make the entire thing further back. God damn it. Okay. So I just need to figure out what the configuration for making that rotate in the correct manner is. I feel like it's actually just pulling all this up a bit more. So what's the current rotation on this? Like 1100. So if I move this up further, so if I make a marker here, okay, it's getting close. It's not quite there yet though. So that lets me know that this actually needs to be further up. Okay, I think I might have cracked it, chat. So if I make a marker elsewhere, so say like here, for example. Okay, that's like almost there. I think that's actually legitimately a properly rolling ball. If I get charged more for not being able to put that on my payment plan, I am not going to let that go. I literally will do anything I can to make them take that off my bill for not contacting me. But anyway, there's one main reason why I'm in a shit mood. Honestly, like, dealing with the healthcare system in general is absolute shit, so I cannot blame you for that. Like, I know that it's different in America with the whole payment plan, bloody scalping and all that garbage. Like, dealing with the healthcare system and business offices in general is just absolute bullshit. So if I move that... Okay, it's still, like, sliding, I think. Okay, so that basically just tells me that I need to remove those for now. That basically just tells me that I still need to rotate this a bit more. Or I need to change the angle on this. Let's change by about another 30 degrees. Okay, lifting up correctly. The fact that this one here is staying static makes me think that it's almost good. So if I make a mark here, it's basically in the same position. So I think, like, from here to, like, for the first 20-something frames, the animation is correct. Get out of it. Ooh. Sorry, should have a bit of a headache today. No, for multiple reasons, but having a bad neck is definitely one of them. Okay, I think the thing here needs to be changed too. Like the startup slowdown on this just needs to be tweaked slightly. I think probably needs to be slightly smoother. In order to do that, I need to scale this. That should give me so checking this. I want to try and get a relatively good box here. Okay, I think that's good. Headaches aren't fun, I would know. I used to get them like a motherfucker. Yeah. So here's the thing, right, chat, and something they don't tell you about having chronic eye issues. You are just an absolute target for agonizing amounts of headaches. Like, I don't think there has been a day in, like, the past 9 years, barring, like, maybe 5 or 6, where I haven't had some form of a low-grade headache. And I know it's not healthy, but, like, the entire reason for it is because my eye pressure is just so damn high sometimes that it just pushes against the orbital bone of my skull and causes said headaches. And that's not even getting into the nerve damage part of the entire situation. Okay, it's like sliding a bit still. So we'll check in maybe around about frame 50. Damn, yeah, it do be like that on this bitch of an earth sometimes. That sucks, yep. Okay, so it's like maybe slightly change that. Like, very marginally. Okay, it's like moving away slightly sooner. Maybe I need to pull it in the other direction. Okay, I think we're almost there. So if I check frame 20, I think I had it at for this one. So yeah, my recommendation is try not to let your body know that your eyes exist, otherwise you will end up with problems like mine. I say knowing damn well there's no way to avoid doing that. And also, I will probably be going in for surgery sometime within the next month or so. Because unfortunately the glaucoma surgery has kind of failed me. And by kind of failed me, I mean my eye pressure is still far higher than they would like me to have. Let's check in closer to the end, so about... Okay, frame 71 should be the most accurate here. Okay, no, that's pretty accurate actually to what a ball roll would look like. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a marker here, and I'm going to see if or how it slides. Hope surgery goes well for you then. Yeah, I hope so too. Because, the frustrating part about me being the way I am, and I can't go into details specific for the reason why this is a thing, but any surgery that requires keyhole or like most surgeries that can't most surgeries that require cutting me open in some form and not directly putting me back together, I need to have general anesthetic. And it's just, it's mostly because of the way that I'm built. So like, for example, generally glaucoma tube surgery is done under local anesthetic, but because of the way I am, I cannot safely have local anesthetic. Well, I can't, well, that's wrong. I can have local anesthetic. What I can't do is have things like anti-anxiety medications or basically anything to slow my brain down. Okay, so I think it's actually sliding just a smidge. So what that tells me is that it is... What? Like, I know the information is there, but what is it telling me? Is that it's actually over-rotating at the end. But yeah, for a specific incident that occurred the last time somebody tried to sedate me, has led to me realizing that I can only do general anesthetic most of the time. Which means, comically enough, I can't have sedation for when I do things that are actually probably potentially chronically bad. So, say for instance, and like, it hasn't happened yet, but I know my luck, invariably it's going to happen. I can't have sedation for things like, what's the thing called? Root canals? Or like dental surgery in general. Okay, it's like rolling slightly too much at the end. Alright, so that should be good. So that's the roll there. So frame 80 is the last one. So if I go into the dope sheet and just delete the annotations. Dang it, I just want the annotations. Cut it out, Linda. You're not really being conducive to a good working environment here. So if I delete those... Okay, now if we view this, this should be basically perfect. More or less. Thankfully, I paid attention this time when I was watching over the criticism and Wayne's suggestion of, well, the original suggestion he had, right? And the thing that I had realized, I think I showed this last stream, was going into the graph editor. You can actually just grab both of the things here. So both of these, and you can actually hit normalize. And it will show them as normalized as possible. Here's the thing, right? You can't see both of... Oh, actually, hang on. There we go. Body. I have more or less gotten this entirely perfect. It's like very marginally off. But as far as I'm concerned, that is borderline perfect. So... like, if I click normalize now, you can see, like, a very minor amount of red at the bottom here. But if you weren't paying attention on those frames, like, you wouldn't think anything of it. So, I'm going to save this as the incremental, and I think we are finally done with rolling balls. Because, good Christ, I am fucking sick of watching a ball roll across the screen for hours on end. So we are going back to... First of all, I'm actually going to chuck all of these into the rolling ball practice files. Because I don't want anything to do with that anymore. So where is my drop practice? Here we go. Honestly, the bowling ball could only really use 2 bounces instead of 1. And it'll probably make the bowling ball look a bit more natural, I guess. Maybe the soccer ball could use slightly more bounces, but we'll see. So if I remove these... Actually, if I remove this keyframe specifically. This one doesn't need to be removed. If I remove that one, bring these together, say, 2 frames. Grab then the Y, just marginal amount. Now, if I play this... Alright, I think that's good. Like, editing this one specifically, like, I already had the information there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a copy of this one, and I'm actually going to do this exercise again. I shall be right back. I need to take my muscle relaxer. Alright. Take your time, Foxy. So save an incremental on that one, get rid of that, and we're gonna open this up, like, open up a fresh new file. Actually, come to think of it, I haven't seen... Oh, okay. So here's the thing, right, chat? I haven't realized this before, but it's actually... like, I've been given references for bouncing balls. Huh. Okay. Wayne, respectfully, why do you have so many balls to bounce around? Like, I'm just slightly concerned. Do you just have a ball pit in your house? Also, why does he look so angry? Okay, never mind. He just looks so angry, it's worth it. Alright, where is the vanilla drops? Here we go. Sorry, I can't take him seriously. He looks so angry in that video. Oh, okay. I don't know why. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Okay. Right. Alright, animation time. So, do this again. So, last time I used a couple of planes to make sure that I was level. And while that technically isn't cheating, I would like to practice being able to eyeball things. So, if I... talking about? The bone is literally right there. What are you talking about? No bone active my ass. Okay, so insert single keyframe there. Make sure I do the active keying set stuff before I go. Okay. So let's do. Yeah, I don't know how I inadvertently calculate this. So if I. So assuming this is 24 frames a second. So 9.8 meters. It'd probably help if seconds squared. It's falling. Is that 5 meters? So it's like 5.27. So it's falling 5.27 meters to hit the ground. And then... yeah, so that would be... probably actually technically just under 12 frames. Because like I'm looking at this, and for it to actually be exactly 12 frames, it'd have to be 5.4 meters. But yeah, no, 12 frames is actually correct. I can't believe I got that right the first time around when I did this exercise. So, Alt-G. And then I've returned with the Sweet Boy. Which Sweet Boy have you got? Have you got Jesse or have you got Shadow? I assume it's Jesse, considering you referred to the Sweet Boy. Well, a Sweet Boy. And then, because it takes 12 frames, I'll probably do like 8 here still. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and then 9. We'll do it roughly around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on frame 30. We got G. And then I can use the graph editor to figure out what I'm doing. So just quietly, like between us chat, I've realized that one of the local theaters, like all the local theaters in the area, have stopped screening the Minecraft movie, for the exception of one. And I think they stopped screening the movie like sometime next week, so I'm actually tempted to just go back and watch it one last time. I was in the kitchen filling up my bottle just enough to take my med. He came in there, and literally right after I said his name and called him buddy, he meowed at me multiple times. He was being very vocal. Yeah, my bird Dings does that too. If I call him Beaky Boy, which he is, he'll just immediately squeak at me. So, yeah, like, I love it when pets respond to whatever nickname that you give them. It's absolutely adorable. It's also fun because I also whistle at Dings too. And, like, the second I start whistling, he'll immediately start squeaking at me. Although, to be fair, he's actually fairly sound reactive. Like, even late at night, like, after we've put the birds to bed, if he hears anybody moving, like, out in the kitchen or anything, he'll just, like, he'll squeak to let us know that he's still awake. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. G. Actually, make sure it's actually even. 1, 2, 3, 6. So I need to move this too. There we go. He is on my lap now, purring very loudly. Oh, a little fluffy motorcycle. How cute. Actually, 5 may be better. Because if I'm removing 2 frames per bounce, it's going to be quite fast when it finishes this motion, so... I'm going to do 4 frames this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then... 4... G... So this should be fine for now, I think. It'll probably help if I can actually see what we're doing. So, change the field type to vector. And then I can start moving these about as needed. So the first thing to do is to scale this in the X. Make sure to really get that bounce going. Timeline in. Just barely enough so it's visible. Oh right, I forgot to click the simplify button. Lol. So scale this in X to make sure it's sharp. X. Curve is relatively even. Okay, so that should be a nice, good curved parabola. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Now I can scale these in the X. Scale this in the X. That should be relatively the same curve, I hope. Yeah, okay, that does look like the same curve. However, I do think that this might actually be slightly too small. Like, slightly too low, rather. Also, I somehow managed to get a cat hair in my mouth despite not owning a cat. Do I still have cat hair on my clothes from when I visited my cousin's house the other day? Bruh. So, maybe slightly more? Not by much, though. Okay, that should be good. And... so that's how many I said right one. Yep. So make this pick one. 1, 2. I'll make it like this. G. Is this off-centered? I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yep. I just knew that bitch was off-centered. Actually, it's G and X. You silly goose. He is the sweetest boy and I love him so much. Honestly, completely understandable. Until you guys realize that I have to basically 3D animate an entire goddamn obstacle course. And that's, technically speaking, the next assignment I have to do. Like, this is gonna be so goddamn silly. Alright, so... that's fine. That one is... 1, 2... 1, and then this one needs to be a bit. X. I need to make that a vector handle. Dad just made him get off me by opening my door and saying he was going to give him treats. I was enjoying him being on me. Well, that's unfortunate. I hope the good boy comes back. Okay, that's rounded now. And for this one, so 1, 2, and then 3, I'm going to add a keyframe here. And then these two, I'm going to G and Y. And then I've got to make sure these are big. They'll immediately turn to free handles when I move them upwards, but that's fine. I think that's good. Alright, I shall just go with it for the time being. So now it's time to animate the soccer ball. Yippee! Excuse me for a moment. On a side note, I was playing Pillar Chase 2 and was against Baldy and ran to one of his pads which had 34 plus 19 as a question, and my brain literally blanked at that moment. I was like, dude, how the fuck do I not know this easy question? Yeah, because, like, isn't that shit 53? I'm pretty sure it's 53 at least. I don't know. I dropped out of math. I say that joke as though I dropped out of basic math. What I actually dropped out of was final year calc. Yeah, yes it is. I'm just slow. It'd be like that sometimes, especially if you're already dealing with something else. So if you're, sorry, chat. If you're already preoccupied with trying to avoid getting caught by whatever entity, you're not going to be thinking, oh, it's time for a math quiz. You'll be thinking like, oh fuck, I need to get out of here. Stat. Also, I just realized I was doing that in object mode and not pose mode. Shit. So probably around about here. Actually, hang on. Maybe slightly higher. It's kind of hard to tell, and this is a slight pet peeve of mine. The soccer ball, unlike the basketball and the bowling ball, kind of fades in with the background for my eyes, so I do have to be... Okay, it needs to be slightly lower, I believe. Is that too much? God damn, it's so hard to tell. Also, I've just realized that the background might not even be selectable. Yeah, he's made it so you can't select the ground. That's kind of cheeky of him, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to... Is there a way to... Oh, wait, of course, stabilize stroke. So yeah, this needs to be slightly higher up. As I said, it can be kind of hard for me to tell with my garbage eyes. Probably about that much. So, if I insert some keyframe here, and then on frame 12, I'll do that. Also, I just realized that the basketball's actually bouncing at 40% height, which is not what my intention was. I am a silly goose. It's supposed to be 60% height. Divide by... So that's actually supposed to be about there. So yeah, I can actually add in an extra keyframe if need be. I was being chased by a giant gorilla-looking Teletubby. It's scary, not gonna lie. Yeah, I've only seen things relating to Pillar Chase because of Uther Guide, and that's about it. Like that's the only Pillar Chase content I've seen. For those of you who don't know, Uther Guide is a Roblox animator. I'm gonna grab this one. X, one frame. Frame 62. I'm going to add in a keyframe. Hello? Oh, it's in object mode, not pose mode. I'm done. So if I insert keyframe here, so that should be 60% right here. But yeah, like the only content I've seen of that is just that one particular YouTuber, and that's about it. So if I set this to auto clamped, and then what I can do is I can actually just equalize the handles, I think. Actually, no, these might be the size that I want it to be. Alright, so now if I set this back to vector, I can now edit these to be whatever I want it to be. Scale these things here. X. You know, it's really difficult to eyeball things when your eyeballs just don't function. So I have to do stuff based entirely off of vibe, which is arguably probably worse. Okay. That one there also needs to be scaled. And these two... Actually, I think the scale on this one's fine. It just needs to be outside, but this one probably does need to scale. Okay, so now... if I do this... probably could stand to maybe make this slightly longer here. So 6. 6. 1, 2, 3. I might make this one 5 frames instead. Okay, the only downside is I actually have to make this one more rounded now to compensate for the fact that the air time is slightly longer. So then 1, 2, I'll make this 3 frames in between. So, oh good lord. So 3 frames between these ones. So this does need to be scaled a bit, like quite a bit more. And probably these need to be scaled in slightly. So 1, make sure these ones are moved along, and we should be just about good. I can add an extra bounce in. So 1 there, 1 there. And then these ones, I'll add in a couple of these. So 3. Just grab these up a bit. And then this one and this one. So GBC. Actually, I can just insert a keyframe from here. And then these ones, I'll need to... That one I don't need to, but this one I need to make sure that the handle types are vectored. That one there, and then these two... Not that though. So now, the elasticity on this should be fine. Man, good thing I caught that instead of just going through it all brain dead. Might just lower this one slightly. Same with this one. Okay, there we go. How do we think, chat? What do we think of this basketball? Ignoring the soccer ball, of course, that hasn't really been done. Hasn't had anything done with it yet. Alright, so... Now that that is all over and done with, it is time to move on to this annoying bastard. So this one is going to be 40% of the height instead of 60%. So 6. I'm going to do 7 frames for this one. So if I G the Z. Now if I grab this in the Y, so that's about halfway, so I'll probably want to be around about here. Can I just say, I'm not going to mention the name of whoever it was I just banned, but the other moderator can see it, and I'm just going to say, that username looks like a white person slur. I'm not going to beat around the bush. That looks like the sort of thing I'd call a white person if I was pissed off of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Alt G. And then 5. 5. Alt G on that one. The fuck? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Foxy. Like, they're not even trying anymore. Like, they're not trying, pretending to be human beings. They're just like, Lamau, we're bots. Deal with it. So I probably want to be around that here for this mouse. And then the bowling ball is just going to be basically mid-drop. Not quite, but more or less. So, 1, 2, 3. So, 2, 3 there. 3 and... Make sure I actually get in the right position this time, dipshit. And then, like, I can just do the extra bounces from here. So, add in an extra keyframe. So, that, insert, and then all of this stuff here. So, all this down the bottom, going, and we grab that. Now, it's time to do the thing. Now, this one here, I do need to match the velocity at the top of this. So, see how it falls faster? I made this example yesterday, but this does need to be changed. And this one here needs to be scaled up a bit. Okay, the soccer ball is falling just slightly faster. So we're going to move that around until it's no longer doing that. Okay, I think I've got it in roughly the right position. Alright, cool. Actually, I'm just gonna write this down for later. I'm not gonna show that on stream, but I thought it was incredibly funny. I might tell you later, Foxy, once I'm done here. Alright, grab that in the X. Actually, is this uneven? I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. How did I know? I should have damn well known that was the case. Okay, so... Wait, these are different heights, aren't they? No, they're not. They just feel like different heights. They're not. Nah, that was freaky as hell, Lamau. What's freaky as hell? So, that hits the ground at the same time. Nice. Let's double check the top as well while I'm here. Alright. Good. Nice, good. I was backed into a dead end and the person playing Sonic.exe literally just stood behind the corner and scared at me, then backed behind the corner slowly. Nah, fuck that. Absolutely not on your life. Nah. So like, what is Pillar Chase anyway? Is it basically, oh, what's that one game? It's the one hunting game with the computers. You know the one I'm talking about, right? I swear Christ, I need to just check this. Okay, I can't. I used to play that game all the time. Why can I not, for the life of me, remember what the hell the game is called? Like the one game where you smack people over the back of the head with hammers. Is basically what I remember the game as. If I search up Roblox horror game, it will most likely show me the one I'm looking for. Why can I not, for the life of me, remember what the stupid game is called? It's going to piss me for the rest of the stream now. I need to get back to work. But it is going to annoy me for the rest of the stream. But like, anyone who's played Roblox knows exactly the game I'm talking about. So, where is... Okay, here they are. Those, raise them up. One, two, three. 1, 2. I might actually add an additional. Move this one along 1. And then make this basically a 1 frame. So, where is the insert button? What the hell? That should just be Alt-G. Why is that above the ground? Oh, sorry, it's in the ground, rather. Why was it in the ground? This one, Victor. Alright, now if we play this, not in reverse, preferably. Okay, the basketball actually has too few frames on the edge. Now that I notice it. Yeah, it just like stopped dead. It really shouldn't be doing that. God, I hate this slendy tubby killer. Oh, that's the game I was thinking of. Escape the Facility. Pillar Chase just like escape the facility or something like that? God, I cannot believe it took me, I think that was a solid 10 minutes for me to remember what the game was called. It's always when you, like, no longer need the information. So... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I might actually move this along frame. This one as well. Just move that frame. No, you have to do tasks and survive. There's no actual way of escaping. Oh, so it's I think it's basically DVD just without the escape, right? Or Before the Dawn or that sort of thing. So it's like that sort of genre of game. Just without the escape portion, the extraction portion, rather. So... 1, 2, 3, 5. Not even too short, right? Probably needs to be another frame. One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. But in the description it says Pillar Chase was originally inspired by a Halo custom game mode and not by Dead Before Daylight. Oh, yeah, okay. Probably a Reach one if I had to take a guess, because if it's the one I'm thinking about, that does track. One, two. Okay, so that probably needs to be down. So if that's 1, 2. One. And it's like literally the next frame, so that doesn't really work here. So... and then... probably just... Alright, let's check this now. Now that I have changed that up a bit. Okay, it feels a bit better. So I'll just do the bowling ball now. And then I think by the time that I finish that, we'll be just about ready to finish off the stream. If not, I have more spy related stuff I can do. Okay, so pose. So that's like that, and then this one's going to be a little bit heavier. By a little bit, I mean considerably heavier. So this definitely needs to be a little bit. This. I just realized I could just use the select box to make sure these are all aligned correctly. That just makes me realize that the soccer ball is actually not in the correct position. I do that. Okay, that's not even close, I just realized, because of course I need to still take into account the fact that the bottom is still grey. And because it's still grey, it means that I can't see it too well. But yeah, it's probably the best that I can do here. Like that, it's still aligned correctly, shockingly enough. Like, I was more or less expecting that to be just completely off now that I've measured that, but it's just the bottom that's off, it seems. So this needs to be moved. So G the X. Okay. So now if I check these, it's in the correct position. Go to frame 7. Roughly about halfway. Okay, now that's not in the correct spot. So I'll edit that. Okay, maybe slightly less than that. Every time I find a new and interesting way to cheat the system. Every time without fail. Alright, so that should be good. Check frame 1 again, just to double check. That's good. Go to frame 7. Check to make sure that's good. It's close enough. It's such an imperceptible difference. Like, I doubt the instructor is going to call me out on this. And then, yeah, that's probably slightly off. Maybe just tweak that slightly. So that's, yeah. So that should hit the ground on the exact same frame, and then the rest of this doesn't matter. Because, obviously, the bounce heights are two entirely different beasts. Oh, okay. Clicky, that's whatever. Now, this annoying brick. Let's get this moving up. Okay, I actually just got that basically correct for now. How did I manage that? Like, that's basically the one position that I needed it to be in. Make sure these aren't moved around, because for some reason they just like to do that sometimes. Whatever. Also, I got my hands today. So I got my hands on a new calligraphy pen set, and it looks so goddamn pretty. Like, I'm just allowed to have nice stuff like that? Like, what? Like, I'm just allowed nice things? Like, this shouldn't be in the rules. But yeah, it's a calligraphy set. It has a pen, it has a holder, and it has 5 little bottles of ink. But I am also getting some fun extra inks getting shipped over to me. And it's supposed to be, what is it? You could use it under black light. I'm gonna say, 5 frames. They probably... So if this is half... Okay, where's the halfway? there's 1, 2, 3. So each of these are about 20%. So I'm going to make this 25% the original height. And I think that will probably be sufficient. So there. 5 frames. 5. 5. 6, 1 for Alt-G. That's going to be the main count. But I've got basically well, I say glow in the dark, invisible ink. And it's actually going to be important for if or when, rather, I do animation series later. Because one of the characters is going to be basically, like, so say like there's the normal world. Forgot the stabilized stroke thing. So like, say there's a normal world, there's going to be basically an inverse world, right? So the characters are going to occasionally write notes to each other, and it's like going to be basically background stuff. But any notes written by characters who come from this specific place, like, everyone's going to have their notes written and all that. But anyone who writes a note from this area, it's not going to show anything. However, if you view the same notes in the alternate area, like, the text on these is actually going to be all garbled, so you can't really decipher them all that much. But any notes written here will be written in, like, the normal way you'd expect them to be written. But it's going to be glowing, so basically if it's as though it was placed under a black light. And it's like, more or less only one character this is relevant to, but I think it's an important enough detail in the series to require it. So now we need 20% of this bastard. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to GZ, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4 frames in between? 1, 2, 3. It's not. I want it to be 4 frames in between. G. So then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll G that. So this one. And then, like, for the end one, I'm just going to have it 1, 2, 3. And then 4 frames here, I'm just going to insert a singular keyframe and very mildly just give it a tiniest amount of bounce. Grab all of these. Vector. And then just do this. So yeah, it's basically going to be a dead drop. In fact, I don't even think that's too high. Why is that going so quickly? It's like so ridiculously sharp, I just realized. Probably needs to be. Yeah, but it's about this stuff first before I can do anything else. Come to think of it, this is on frame 0. These shouldn't be on frame 0. Right? Yeah, like, the bowling ball is the only one to be on frame 0. That's strange. Okay, now it's time to mess about with these things. Scale these to the X. And scale this one the X just a smidge. So if I Yeah, the ball is too heavy here. Remembering that the bowling ball has to be moving at the same rate as the basketball and soccer ball. And this actually needs to be steeper, I've just realized. Huh. Okay, move these along. Okay, so that should be the same frame. Now this is actually too steep. Actually, maybe not steep enough, rather. That needs to be moved still just a slight amount more. Okay, so that's like that. How about this one here? Okay, that's gone too far the other direction now. Scale that in the X a bit more. Okay, now it should be at the same height. So if we go, say, frame 10. Yep, those are equal. Hits the ground. I think I need to make the drop on this a slight bit more exaggerated. So I'm just going to GX. Scale this a bit. So then this one, I need to scale these in the X as well. And then these two I need to grab. Okay, I think that's just about okay. So if I play this. Yeah, now it shows like 3 very different types of bounces. I think maybe the basketball's bouncing slightly too long. Because, like, the bowling ball ends first, then the soccer ball, and then the basketball, I think, maybe slightly too much. And cross-reference it with the assignment notes, though. Yeah, okay, so the basketball's definitely bouncing a bit too much. I think maybe 60% is just a smidge overkill. So, it's time to go back to this and maybe just X off a couple of bounces. I probably peaked my mic doing that. Yeah, so maybe the arcs don't need to be nearly as high. So that is like 60%, so maybe I bring that down a bit. So the parabolas stay stable. These ones especially need to do so. Get down a smidge more, scale those back in. And then this one I can actually just probably control. I could probably just delete some of these end ones. At the very least I can delete that one. G then Y on that. Scale that in the X, scale that in the X as well. Probably want to move this one just a smidge. And then this one here, I can just delete this keyframe. No, I just wanted that particular keyframe. I just want keyframe 59 to be removed. Thank you. And then this one here, just move these, so 2 keyframes, 1, 2, 3, and then this one I'll just move this. I can actually scale these so they're still rounded. Now I've effectively eliminated one bounce from this entire animation cycle. Okay, I feel like it's actually dropped off too much now. Yeah, because you feel like how it's almost turns into lead near the end. Which tells me that this is actually too low. Yeah, it like near this point. Where is it? So that's fine. And then around here, it starts really going at it. Do I need to add, do I need to remove an extra bounce from here? Probably. If I remove any more, it's going to start becoming an issue. Unless I mess about with this. Scale that back in the X. Okay, that can be scaled. Those in line. Make sure I just move these about so they're a bit more consistent. Okay, so if I apply this now, is it any smoother? Not quite. I feel like that one's probably just not rounded enough. Yeah, it feels like it just speeds up at the end. That's not really what I want. Like, just a little bit silly. So if I double check this, right? So 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, it probably just needs to be that this one goes out just 1 frame. So G and Y on that, make it really rounded. Might even just scale that out a bit. Alright. Y. Just make sure I really get roundness on this. Okay, it's a bit better. Why do I feel like the... Okay, the scaling on this one's wrong. So basically I just need to make sure that the curves on these stay relatively stable. I'm not sure. I might have to come back to this one later, chat, because it's starting to give me a bit of a slip, but not enough to where, like, it's really angering me. And I think that's probably, like, the healthy point to cut this particular exercise off. So I'm actually just gonna pause this to make sure it doesn't continue playing while I'm saving. So save as, and then files. Now the reason why I don't say like round 2 or whatever is because the incremental can actually cause it to be messy. So like instead of it being like, oh yeah, round 1, round 2, whatever, separate files, it turns into round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4 for the exact same file. Alright, so let's do Sorceress Lair. So we got that. I haven't actually downloaded the Sorceress file, so I'm probably going to need to grab that. In the meantime, I'm actually going to pull up this so you in chat can see it. The animation I ended up finishing for the assignment. So if I grab this, I'm gonna loop this while I'm sorting out this file here. So this is unlisted for the time being. Now I just need to grab. Dragon. Alright, here we go, under bosses. Oh yeah, I forgot that the Sorceress... Actually, what's going on with that model? It's like there's something sticking out of the model from this here. Oh, yeah, once we actually get there. Okay, so it's another DAE file. Or, sorry, DAE file rather. But yeah, I think the animation turned out quite well. Import... where is the DAE? Collada. Oh, sorry. I can't see the word Collada without thinking of that one particular song. If you know, you know. Where is my video game? They are. Okay, so I actually need to import both of these. So if I do that, so I've imported the Sorceress. Yeah, there's like some weird polygon sticking out of her hand, which I assume to be I'm sorry? Actually, I just realized that there's some weird thing going on here. Whose is that? Oh, it's the mesh for the arena. Okay, that makes more sense. Alright, so import this one. Except she's gonna spawn out there, but what I can do is I can shift S and then selection cursor. Oh yeah, I forgot how absolutely tiny this character is. So if I use the same scale... Wait, hang on. The characters are normally larger. Why is the sorceress so tiny? Okay, that makes no goddamn sense. So now I have to figure out what a good size scaling for the sorceress is. That is not helpful in the slightest, so I'm gonna be honest. Alright, is there like a point where the sorceress and Moneybags like directly interact with each other? Not really. Like maybe I could do the thing where like the character essentially like I use a different character for height comparison. But I'm not sure which character I'd have to use for that because like obviously I have Moneybags. I don't think Bianca gets close enough to Moneybags in order for that to be accurate. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to have to... Alright, here's the thing. So I'm going to open... Actually, I'm going to append. And I'm going to grab Moneybags. I think probably 60. I have Moneybags. Just here somewhere. Moneybags. So... Okay, grab this one. Just go into pose mode. A, Alt, G, R, S. Okay, weird. It's not resetting the bones? Okay, never mind then, I guess. I guess, that one doesn't work. Let's try appending from... What's the earliest file that I've got for this? Probably 4, I think. So if we go up and go to 4, I think it's default. Actually, no, I've got my click right here. So now if I move this fat blood over to the arena, actually, did I correct the height on this one? I don't think I did I? Thanks. See the height of this one. Okay, no, I did actually accurately make the height of this one accurate. Because, like, I forget that Herobrine's just so much taller than everyone else. So if I make the sorceress probably like about 3 meters tall would make the most sense. So I'm just going to quickly eyeball this chat, just give me a moment. So... Spyro. Now I believe Spyro is like half of Moneybags' height in the original game. And comparing that to the sorceress... Yeah, he's like a third of the sorceress's height. Like, at the head, not including the horns. I'm pretty sure Spyro is about a third the Sorceress's height. So, the Sorceress being 3 meters tall is not entirely out of the question. Sorceress, Spyro. Make sure I get accurate representation of this. Because the problem is that the Sorceress leans over when she's running. And that doesn't sound too important, but like in all the comparisons that you have between her and Spyro, at least in regards to the original game, you can't really see an accurate height estimate. But I'm going to say that she's 3 meters tall. So, not that one. Here we go. So I make this 3. So that gives me... There we go. So that also means that the scepter is probably the same length. So if I bring in the scepter, Shift S, and then select the cursor. So what's the height on this one? 3.101. Okay, there we go. Now, respectfully, the Sorceress is far too blocky, so I am going to add a subdiv to this one as well. Do I might have Simplify on at the moment. Yes, I do. So if I shade Auto Smooth. Actually, if I just straight up shade smooth in general, that should be fine. And if I push this up one more level, yeah, that's fine. Now, the only issue I have here, I mean, just beyond the texturing, is just this here. I don't think the Sorceress's neck thing, whatever, is that curly in the original game. So one level of subdiv should be sufficient, and then this one, I'm going to give it probably a crease. Yeah, this would be so much easier if everything wasn't triangulated all hell and back. Okay, and then that one there. I mean, like, I like the reignited design quite a fair bit because you can actually see that, oh yeah, she's wearing like a neck ruffle. Can I, if I remove the triangulation from this, so if I try to quads this, okay, that's not too bad actually. Yeah, this I can work with. Unfortunately, that's a bit glitchy, but I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, just grab these. I'm going to make these sharp as well. So, increase. There we go. Yeah, that's the only issue with this situation, is that if I remove the triangulation, it messes up the texture something on it. So if I remove the triangulation of this should function correctly. Yep. So I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, and then increase that. Alright, now if I go into the UV editing for this. Grab all of these and pull up the correct texture, which one is the real question. Textures A, shield, dragon egg, not that one. Not money bags. Is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Actually, no, isn't that Spyro's texture? Does Spyro share a texture with the sorceress? Huh. Interesting. Okay, there we go. And before I forget, I need to plug the alpha into the color as well. For this one specifically. Because if I don't, the crown's going to have that black background to it. And it's going to look really weird. Now, I don't know what the purpose of this spot is. So I'm probably just going to yeet that. And then merge, make sure that we don't have any untoward geometry on here. This is probably just going to be linked directly to the bone, most likely. Now, if I add a subdiv surf to this, I can actually just shade auto smooth on that. And there we go, we've got an egg and a scepter. And unlike the sorceress, I don't think the textures for this one are actually broken. So I can just go on Y. Now the only issue, of course, with subdiv is that it smooths things out. But I think in this case, it doesn't matter too much. Also, I probably should just keep it shaded smooth at this point. The only real annoyance here, and I think I might just think, oh, good lord. Why is it like this? Why? Okay. This is basically a masterclass in how not to do topology. Because what in the holy ever-loving fuck is this? So if I can't even hide that. But like, can I remove this egg? I'm gonna hide this egg. This topology, like, it's probably acceptable for back in the day, but good lord, does it look awful now. In fact, I'm pretty sure that has an internal face, and that's why it's doing it. Yeah, this definitely has an internal face. So even if I remove those, it's not gonna work, is it? I basically need to remove... Okay, if I remove this one, it might work. Okay, no it doesn't. Alright, how do I... If I control X this, I can't. So if I delete this, it's going to remove several faces. So what I need to do is I need to grab the internal faces here and I need to delete them. Okay, now it works. It's janky, but I think it looks considerably better than it once did. I can even grab this and just end slightly so it stays consistent with the rest of the mesh. Now if I Alt-H, yeah, now that doesn't look nearly as jank as it once did. Alright, so I'm gonna set and sorceress so we don't have any of that weird code stuff going on. Now, I don't know what's going on with this a lot. It almost looks like the geometry is clipping in on itself. God, when you look at these characters properly, like without all the CRT and whatnot, the models look so janky, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna go into local view for this one specifically. I think it's time to do a little bit of a rigging. Get rid of all this stuff. Alright, now Shift A and add in a. Where is my boots? There. Make sure that these are visible in front. Cool. So this one's going to be interesting because she does have a tail. So I am going to have to do something about that in a bit. I think that's probably the correct position, right? No, it's slightly lower than that. Actually, no, I will keep the root bone there because the tail is going to be a menace if I don't put it there specifically. Actually, come to think of it, the sorceress is off-centered, isn't she? Yeah, that's definitely off-centered. Like, I know, the entire point is to add some interest to the character by having it, be non-perfect. Or, sorry, non-uniform, as it were. But in this case, it does not help me. Okay, move these around. Lengths. And that one can go there for the time. So I should be. Rotate that. Actually, I can just grab this, right? I can deal with the roll later. That one there, and then I go to the side. I'm pretty sure that's where the joints are anyway. It's kind of hard to tell. Okay, so by F2 upper right. Right. I should at least try and stay consistent with my name conventions and hand right. Go. And then just make sure that these are in the correct position here. 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 Go. Oh no. That is okay. I'm not gonna. So my friend sent me some messages on Discord. She's currently not in a safe position right now, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do. But she just sent me an update, and good lord, what the fuck is wrong with people? Okay, yeah, it's probably about as close to an E as I can get to. And at least in this case. If I had to guess, the Reignited Trilogy model is probably going to be a lot easier to work with, but unfortunately I don't really have access to it, at least not in this project. At least there's no reason for me to use it in this project. I need to edit. I know there's a way to do it. Here we go. So roll. It's so hard to get a good position on this one. Like, what is the deal with the positioning on this? Okay, so now we've got that. Need to readjust. 188, I think, is probably sufficient. Now this one definitely needs to be changed. 160? Yeah, that works. And then this one, I'll probably just extend this a little bit into the pubic, but not too much. And by the way, the rotation of these, as far as I can tell, don't really affect the animation in any way, but it does give, like, better positioning for, like, basically just, like, looking at it, you can see what's going on a bit better. So if I set this to probably 7. -4. And 38, sure. So that one is in the back. So now I've just got to just align the spine. And that one as well. G and X. And the root definitely needs to be pushed back a bit. Or even just move that one forward a bit. Alright, so that should be good here. I'm just going to rename things now. So that's the root. Here to here is it Shift F2? Nope. That is something completely different. Movie clip editor. Oh, that's going to be useful for later, but not right now. So, Alt F2? Where's the... Oh, there's the battery. Name is just being annoying. So, set name, new, and spine. And then this is head. So now, I should probably work on the tail. Do I want this to be connected directly to root, or do I want this to be connected to the spine? That's two entirely different things. I think I want to be connected to the spine. I think the spine is the correct answer here. So if I extrude this out, probably 3 is enough. Okay, and the sorceress is still very much off-centered. Like, I get adding a bit of intrigue, but it's just a bit too much. Is the model just rotating some weird way? Oh, no. There's no rotation on it. So the sorceress is just particularly blobby, it seems. So if I can't really assign this quite yet. I probably need to just symmetrize first. So if I do this and symmetrize, it didn't work. Okay, so that's going to be an issue. So this entire thing here, RZ and then 90, that actually needs to be, Y, not scale. Control A and apply rotation focus. Now, if I go into edit mode and try to symmetrize this now, okay, I haven't done the leaks yet for now. So, right. Right, and then put right. Now, if I symmetrize this should work. But yeah, the character is just so off balance. And logically, I know it's just because, like, the mesh has been just moved around a bit to make it look asymmetrical. But that doesn't help when it comes to trying to rig this thing, unfortunately. So, just Z, X. Oh my god, you do not have to rev the shit out of your motorcycle, especially not when people are trying to work. Good lord, why are people so stupid around here when it comes to their motorcycles? Okay, that incensed me just a little bit too much. Weren't they supposed to be like that? What? I'm not sure why they ended up the way they did. Anyway, I fixed it, that's all that matters. So now, if I go into object mode and I try and Control P, automatic fakes. Now if I rotate this, yeah, so I'm going to need to do quite a fair amount of work when it comes to weight painting. Especially considering some of these parts are actually entirely separate from the original mesh. Like, this should work relatively well. At least I thought it would. Unfortunately, it seems to be just grabbing the entirety of the back. So, this might be one of those ones where I might have to edit the mesh a bit more off stream. But for the most part, like, I've gotten quite a fair bit done today, I think. So, save incremental, and I shall end off the stream. Okay, I don't think there's anything too interesting to talk about at the end of the stream. I don't have anyone to raid. At least I believe so. Look. Okay, the friend I was planning to raid for the past couple of streams hasn't been streaming lately, so I haven't been able to raid her. So I shall see you on the next stream where hopefully I'll have something slightly different in terms of animation to work on.